This is an Indian, a 1915 V-twin 1000cc American motorcycle. It's attached in this case to an American sidecar, but it's on the English side, the left-hand side. One of the most successful motorcycles ever made, and very successful not only in large sales, 35,000 in 1913, but also in its sporting record. It's full of interesting features, beautifully designed, and in my view, an extremely pretty bike. I just love it. I'd like to mention a few of the interesting features on this bike. Electric lights, a toolbox conveniently placed for the rider, town and country exhaust, lift it up when you're out in the country, blat, 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 and when you're going through the towns, push it down, chitter, chitter, chitter. The suspension is very, very effective, and even the rear light is sprung. One of the idiosyncrasies of this bike is that it has a left-hand throttle, where most machines the throttle is on the right. They say that the reason for this was that when these were used by the police in the Keystone Cop period, it was so the policeman could take his pistol out and shoot at people while still controlling the speed of the bike. Whether that's true or not, I'm not sure, but it's a good story. This is not a bike for the faint-hearted. It's so exciting. I have had some experience of riding it, and without that experience, you could get into trouble. Anybody who persevered and had good anticipation would really get the thrill that I get from this bike. It frightens me in one way. I'm all the time wondering what's going to happen. It's very reliable, it's very fast, but you've really got to be working at the controls. Left-hand throttle, foot clutch, braking isn't that good. I'm going to have to stop in 100 yards time. There's all sorts of things going through your mind. But when you get off it, you're still bubbling with excitement because it's such a grand bike. The engine is so lusty. You can imagine people riding these miles in those days, and fast. I mean, it's terribly greedy on petrol, you know, does about 35 miles to the gallon and so on and so forth. But everything about the bike is fresh, fast, well made, enjoyable, but a little bit frightening. Although it's very old, one of the strange things I've noticed about this bike is when I go down to the village green and park it outside the pub, within a very short time it's surrounded by people, but almost always a large number of women. And I will just go over and say, you like this, do you? Oh, it's lovely. Are you into motorbikes? Oh, no, I don't take any notice of them usually. So what's so interesting about this? I don't know, it's the colour, it's the shape, they say. And I realise this bike does have a lot of sex appeal. There is no question about it. I think when I want a bit of an excitement, a bit of a kick, there are all sorts of things you can take, but for me, I take a dose of Indian.